Logan Pierce thought he had seen everything. He had climbed every mountain a man could climb. Money, power, status, betrayal. But none of that prepared him for the truth that would come from a single black card placed in the wrong, or perhaps the right hands. Logan lived at the very top. His penthouse in Denver touched the clouds. His name shook boardrooms and moved stock markets. People admired him, envied him, and feared him, but very few ever saw him. Not as a man, not as a human being. One late evening, he stormed into his glass-walled penthouse. His tailored blazer hit the leather couch with a slap. His jaw was tight, his voice breaking. "I can't take it anymore." Carter Hale, his personal assistant for 8 years, leaned against the marble counter with folded arms. Carter had seen Logan angry in billion-dollar meetings. He had seen him cold in corporate wars. But he had never seen him this raw. "What happened this time?" Carter asked quietly. Logan's pacing filled the room. He was like a lion trapped in his own golden cage. "She raised her champagne glass and toasted to us getting back together. And then, get this, she took a selfie with the dessert. As if I were a trophy, not a man." "It was just dinner," Carter reminded him. "Dinner," Logan snapped. "She told me she missed me and my helicopter in the same sentence. Am I a man, Carter? Or just a walking investment?" His voice cracked. The weight behind it was rare. Logan had always carried his fortune like armor. Tonight, that armor seemed dented. Carter kept silent. He knew his boss too well to argue. But then Logan stopped pacing, his eyes dark and alive with a new fire. "No, that's it. I'm done. No more fake smiles. No more hidden agendas. I'm going to run an experiment." Carter groaned. "Every time you say that word, someone ends up in tears." "This time will be different," Logan said firmly. "I'll give 4 women unlimited black cards. 3 days. No rules. No limits. And when the days are over, I'll finally see who they really are." Carter blinked. "Unlimited cards? That's not an experiment, Logan. That's a disaster waiting to happen." But Logan's mind was already racing. "Belle Summers," he said first. "She'll treat it as a grand gesture. Then Tessa Monroe, my sharp assistant. She brags about strategy, let's see how strategic she really is. Sloane Vesper thrives on appearances. Give her no ceiling and she'll show her true self." He paused. His voice dropped softer. "And Nora Bennett." Carter lifted his head, surprised. "Your housekeeper?" "Yes," Logan said with a faint smile. "The one who hums off-key while scrubbing the floors. The one who once threatened me with a wooden spoon because I stirred her risotto." "Exactly," Carter said dryly. "The woman who's never asked you for anything. The only sane person in this penthouse. And you want to hand her a weapon of mass temptation." "Precisely. She's the only one I can't read. I want to see what she'll do with power." Carter shook his head. "Logan, this isn't bold. It's reckless." But the next morning, 4 black envelopes lay on Logan's desk. Their names were written in silver ink like pawns in a grand chess game. Belle Summers came first, heels clicking across the marble, her dress screaming for attention. Logan handed her the envelope with a calm smile. "A breakup present? Or a bribe to win me back?" she teased. "Neither. Just 3 days. No limit." Her lips curved in triumph. She left with the card gleaming between her polished nails. Tessa Monroe arrived next, sharp and efficient, a tablet under her arm. She raised an eyebrow. "You're not dying, are you?" "Not yet," Logan replied dryly. "Consider it a gift. 3 days." She hid her ambition behind professionalism and accepted it with a nod. Then came Sloane Vesper, draped in couture, sunglasses on even though it was barely 10 a.m. She eyed the card with suspicion. "What's the catch, Logan?" "No catch. 3 days. Spend it as you please." Her smirk told him she already had a plan. Finally, Nora Bennett entered, not from the front door, but through the side hallway. A dish towel slung over her shoulder, flour on her hands, and a bowl of dough tucked under her arm. "Boss, that oven's coughing again," she muttered, setting the bowl down. Logan handed her the envelope. She frowned. You're firing me? No, it's a gift. She opened it, eyes widening at the sleek black card. You're feeling okay? Yesterday I gave you banana bread so burnt it could have been used as charcoal. Take it, Nora. 3 days. Anything you want. She looked at him like he had asked her to fly a rocket. Anything? Yes, anything. Hours later, Logan sat with a glass of whiskey while Carter scrolled through transactions. Helicopter rentals. A $15,000 gown. Gala bookings. Carter listed flatly. Logan smirked. Predictable. And Nora? Carter hesitated. Groceries. Paint. Diapers. Second-hand toys. And... He paused, almost laughing in disbelief. 200 hot dogs. Logan set down his glass slowly. Hot dogs. Yes, 200. For a long moment Logan said nothing. Then a smile tugged at the corner of his mouth. That, I did not see coming. Deep down, for the first time in years, Logan felt something stir. Curiosity. The kind that could change everything. By the next afternoon, Logan couldn't sit still. The thought of Nora's choices gnawed at him. He asked Carter for the address linked to the van she rented and soon found himself driving through parts of Denver he had never stepped foot in. The towers faded. The streets grew smaller. Kids' bicycles rested on porches. The world was quieter, humbler. At the end of a block, he saw it. A small brick building with a fading sign. Riverside Haven Children's Home. The van was parked out front. His back doors stood open. And there was Nora. Jeans, an old t-shirt, her hair tied in a messy bun, carrying colorful boxes inside with an energy that made the air itself brighter. Logan leaned against his SUV, watching. Her laugh carried across the street. It wasn't polished. It wasn't calculated. It was real, and it hit him harder than any deal ever had. Finally, he crossed over. At the desk inside, an older woman looked up. Hello, can I help you? Logan Pierce, he said, offering a hand. Her eyes warmed with recognition. Helen Whitaker, director here. We're able to do what we do only because of generous people like Nora. She's been a blessing. Logan blinked. Nora? A blessing? Helen nodded. She comes almost every week. And today, thanks to her, the children are having a party. Intrigued, Logan followed the sound of laughter into the courtyard. He stopped short. Balloons tied to trees. Tables covered with bright paper. Children running everywhere. And right in the center, Nora in a clown costume. Oversized shoes. A red nose. Struggling to twist balloons into animals. When one popped loudly, she laughed harder than the children. Logan stood still. He had seen people claw at him for wealth, for status, for power. But he had never seen someone give so freely without asking for anything. And for the first time in years, something inside him cracked. Logan leaned against a tree, watching the chaos unfold in the courtyard. Children with painted faces ran past him, their laughter louder than any business deal he had ever closed. And there was Nora, kneeling to help a little girl with a scraped knee. She pulled a cartoon bandage from her bag and whispered, "This one is magic. But it only works if you hop 3 times after I put it on." The girl giggled through her tears and hopped 3 times, suddenly convinced she was healed. Something inside Logan's chest tightened. Admiration, guilt, maybe even something deeper. Then Nora spotted him. She froze mid-step, her clown nose dangling around her neck. "Mr. Pierce, what are you doing here?" Logan scrambled for an answer. "I heard about the party and wanted to contribute." Her eyes narrowed. "Heard about it from who?" "I have contacts," he lied poorly. Nora studied him, then sighed. "Fine. If you're here, you can help. I've got 200 hot dogs to serve, and only 2 hands." For the first time in his life, Logan found himself standing behind a grill. He fumbled with spatulas, burned half the buns, stained his shirt with ketchup, and nearly set the tablecloth on fire. Nora shook her head, amused. "You ever thought about demolition? Because cooking isn't your gift." The children didn't care. They tugged at his sleeves, asked endless questions, even handed him crayon drawings. "Are you really rich?" one boy asked. A little, Logan admitted. Can you buy a dragon? There are no dragons, Logan smiled. Yes, there are, the boy insisted. Nora said she saw one. Nora winked, pretending not to hear. By the end of the day, Logan was exhausted. His suit was ruined. But he felt something he hadn't felt in years, peace. Later, as they cleaned up, he asked quietly, "Why do you do all this? Spending your money, your time?" Nora shrugged. Because someone has to. These kids deserve to smile. I don't get paid, but I get rewarded in ways money can't touch. Logan couldn't reply. For once, the master of words and deals had nothing to say. That night, back in the penthouse, Logan replayed the images in his mind. Nora's laugh, her care, the way she gave without hesitation. It haunted him in the best way. The next day, he found her in the kitchen scrubbing a pan, humming off key. "Nora," he said carefully, "how about coffee? Somewhere outside." She blinked. "Coffee? With you? Are you having a crisis?" "Maybe, but I'd like you to join me." She looked at her faded jeans, her shirt stained with soap. "I don't have fancy clothes." "You don't need them. You're perfect as you are." Minutes later, they sat in a small cafe far from Logan's usual polished restaurants. Nora sipped her coffee and smirked. "So this is rich people coffee. Tastes just like the corner shops." "That's the point," Logan said softly. "Normal. Simple." For a moment they sat in silence. Two people from two different worlds, finding common ground in a paper cup of coffee. And Logan realized this was the most extraordinary experiment of his life. Weeks passed. Logan found himself listening for Nora's humming in the penthouse. When she wasn't there, the silence pressed on him like a weight. The experiment had revealed the truth. Belle Summers flaunted her card at a gala, her dress worth more than a family's yearly rent. Tessa Monroe presented spreadsheets of investments, as if pitching to a client. Sloane Vesper hosted a glittering event at the Colorado Convention Center, not to raise money, but to raise her own status. But Nora, she had bought groceries, toys, paint, and hot dogs for orphans. The night of Sloane's gala was a turning point. Logan arrived in a tuxedo, Carter at his side. Sloane greeted him with a purr. "Darling, this entire night is thanks to you." But Logan's attention shifted the moment he saw Nora at the back. She wore a simple navy dress, her hair in a loose bun. She wasn't performing. She was showing donors pictures of the children, her voice alive with passion. Then it happened. A waiter accidentally bumped her, spilling champagne down her dress. Gasps filled the room. Belle smirked. Tessa looked away. Sloane whispered behind her glass. For a moment, Nora stood frozen, cheeks burning. But before she could flee, Logan shrugged off his tuxedo jacket and draped it over her shoulders. His voice carried through the room. "The most important person here isn't the one wearing the most expensive gown. It's the one who came to fight for children's futures." Silence followed. But in Nora's eyes, gratitude replaced humiliation. From that night, whispers spread. Some claimed Nora was manipulating Logan. Others said Logan had lost his mind, choosing a housekeeper over Denver's elite. Logan didn't care. For the first time, he felt he had found something real. The backlash came fast. Headlines screamed, "Billionaire's housekeeper caught in charity scandal." Photos of Nora using the black card twisted her story into greed. Investors demanded answers. When Logan confronted her, her eyes brimmed with hurt. "After everything you've seen, do you really think I'd steal from those kids?" "I don't know what to think," Logan admitted. She packed quietly that night, folded her apron on the counter, and walked out without looking back. The silence she left behind was unbearable. But Logan couldn't forget. He launched his own investigation. With Carter's help, he uncovered the truth. Belle and Tessa had orchestrated the smear, desperate to ruin Nora and reclaim their influence. Armed with proof, Logan stormed into a meeting with his investors. "The woman you accuse," he said, voice steady, "is the reason children in this city have food and shelter. The liars aren't the ones helping orphans. They're the ones standing in this room." The fallout was swift. Belle and Tessa's reputations crumbled. Sloane slipped out of sight, unwilling to share the blow. But Logan's heart wasn't in revenge. He drove straight to Riverside Haven. The children swarmed him, tugging at his sleeves, showing him their drawings. And then he saw her, Nora, kneeling beside a boy, helping him with homework. She looked up. The silence between them said everything. "I was wrong," Logan said quietly. "I'm sorry." Her voice was steady. "Do you believe me now?" "I don't just believe you," he whispered. "I want to stand beside you, not as your boss, not as your experiment, but as someone who finally understands what it means to give." Her eyes glistened. For the first time, she let herself smile. Months later, the penthouse was no longer silent. Children filled it every weekend with laughter. Logan and Nora worked together to expand Riverside Haven into a foundation that reached across the city. Carter often joked, Logan finally found his most profitable investment, love. On a summer evening under string lights in the courtyard of Riverside Haven, Logan and Nora exchanged vows. The children formed a makeshift choir, their off-key voices sweeter than any orchestra. There were no grand gestures, no glittering stages, just something rare and priceless. Honesty, forgiveness, love. For the first time in his life, Logan Pierce didn't feel alone at the top. He was home. If this story moved you, drop a red heart in the comments so I know you made it to the end. Also, tell me where you're watching from. I'd love to see how far this story has reached. And if you think more people should hear stories like this, hit share and spread it with your friends and family.